where I get to hang out with some magnificent people. And of course, with it being, Women's Her Story Month, I am so glad that I'm highlighting women for the most part this week. I will have some men coming up on some other future episodes, but for right now, I'm here to celebrate women. And today we have Dr. Jasel Martin in the house. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm alive. I'm well. I'm feeling good.
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and all of that stuff.
Absolutely. I am a doctor of preventive medicine, a nutritionist, exercise physiologist. These are things you can read about me, but I'm also a mother. I am a friend. I am a counsel for a lot of people who have been struggling with their health and their weight loss and weight gain. I have some clients who are also gaining weight as well. Um, And I am really, really passionate about incorporating all 8 areas of wellness to make them work holistically for people versus just addressing the symptoms, which we so often see in our society. So I'm happy to be here and I'm so happy to have this conversation with you. So thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. And, so I have to ask, like I ask everyone else that comes on this platform, what are you unapologetic about in this moment?
Especially in light of COVID, and I am currently in Texas. And so, with the new orders with COVID restrictions or lack thereof, I am unapologetically just vocal about health equity, but what this means, the magnitude of these types of decisions, and what that means for certain communities. These are communities that I can guarantee you were not considered when this was happening. So, all yesterday, all today, I've been on so many calls, so many meetings about this. Um, Simply because I am a professor of health equity at George Washington University and health policy. And so we're talking about how these decisions like this are so monumental. And these are reasons why we're not seeing decreases in COVID numbers, um, let alone the fact that they've been skewing the numbers on purpose in certain areas, just not counting certain things, counting certain COVID cases as pneumonia. Um, it's been crazy. So yeah, I'm very vocal about that, and I'm happy to have whatever conversation is necessary.
Oh, you know what? You've lit a match. So now I have to ask. When you talked about them skewing the numbers, what do you mean by that? Because for people who are on the outside looking in, are they skewing it for the worse or skewing it for so they're underrepresenting the real number that it could be? So I'm just trying to get a feel for is it a positive skew or a negative?
Well, I guess it depends on who's receiving this information. What they're doing. And so a little bit about my background. So I'm a professor, but I'm also a healthcare executive, specifically looking at quality management. And so I'm looking at the utilization numbers. I'm looking at all of the cases that we have for different chronic conditions across the board. We all are. And so what they've been doing is not counting certain cases. So that way the rates appear to be better than they really are. And so it gives rationale and argument, huge quotations, argument as to why we should not abide by some of the social distancing, the mask wearing, the hand washing. First of all, you should be washing your hands anyway. That's
That part.
nasty. Wash your hands, people. So why are we having a conversation about hand washing?
That still floored me when they had to put out that people need to wash their hands. Although, let me just say, I have been in the women's bathroom where people just go and clean walk straight out, or I've seen this quick hand under the water and then they walk out like what really just happened here is. So as much as they had to tell people to wash their hands, It was a wake up call to those same people who walk their ass in the bathroom and walk their ass back out without washing their hands. So it's no wonder, but you do raise some interesting things because I often thought that they were claiming things like pneumonia to be COVID or the flu to be COVID when in fact it was not. But now hearing you say that some of the things was underrepresented to give the perception that COVID was not really as high, especially in some areas, particularly, marginalized areas where people are not really getting, the level of health care. So that's very interesting. So, with you being in Texas right now, what are your thoughts on the whole opening up, but not just opening up and then saying you don't have to wear a mask? So, are you out there mask free? What's going on?
So I'm already, so for those who are listening, don't know my background. So I technically still live in the DMV area, but I'm from Texas. So I decided to shelter in place in Texas with my family since I'm working from home. My father actually passed a couple years ago of diabetes complications. So another reason why I'm so passionate about this. Um, and so my mom was in the house by herself for months. So like, hey, we're gonna shelter in place, me and my daughter. And so the fact that I'm here, I have cousins and relatives and friends who are just always trying to get me out of the house, which I get it. We're all bored. We're all lonely. I understand. We all do, right? Um, but I already have like severe issues and I'm coming out. I'm just like, oh my goodness, you're too close. You don't have a mask. Your nose is not covered. Your nose is uncovered. Like, please wear your mask properly. I'm out here like low key having panic attacks. So now that things are just opening up and it's like, wait, there's no restriction, no social distancing. Somebody can literally be eating right there, mouth wide open. And I'm that that just so we have a whole system here where even when I have groceries delivered, they sit outside for X amount of time. I use my little UV germ killer light. They come inside, sit for another amount of time. I mean, if they need to be refrigerated, then obviously they need to go in the fridge. But the stuff gets wiped down. Cardboard boxes sit outside at least 24 hours before they come inside the house. I am not playing. And now there's two more strains, and people are acting like, oh, we have a vaccine, so now we're just going to automatically, the vaccine cures all, and we could just go back to our everyday life. Wrong. That's not how immunology works.
Oh my gosh. Well, at least you are taking every precaution. So, with that being said, you're taking all these precautions. What precautions would you have people, even on a small scale, just say at a minimum, they should be doing what to stay protected, especially in states like Mississippi and states like Texas that are opening up without a mask? What are some minimal things that people should be doing?
You know, my answer is actually going to probably be unexpected, but it is to really concentrate on keeping your gut health well, because our immune systems are actually located in the mucosa of our gut lining. And yes, and so a large part of it. So there's other factors at play here, but many people are just eating whatever they want right now. And this is very much not the time to be doing that because your immune system is impaired. And so if you live in one of these states, especially one of these states that have weird, wonky rules and regulations regarding COVID, um, you want to make sure that your immune system is in tip top shape. And so that means eating well.
Okay, no, that's good. That's really good to know. I believe in just overall health. I didn't realize that taking care of your gut, which I do anyway, because I do the probiotic drinks and I make sure and have all of those things. So gut health is really big. So you saying that is, really special and important for people who don't want to necessarily eat right, but at the same time, it's something so minimal that you can actually do to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to eat.
So how can people connect with you, get more information about, all of these things, information that you put out? I mean, how do people reach out?
Absolutely. They can reach out to me via my website, drjaselmartin.com. Or I'm on Instagram quite a bit, Dr. Jazzy Fit, DRJAZZYFIT. And Dr. G, I wanted to say something briefly in response to what you just mentioned about probiotics, because I think there's so much wisdom in that. And so I would say the probiotics with the prebiotics. So probiotics are things that are going to be very fibrous in nature. They are going to be the ones that are prepping and priming your gut lining to receive the probiotics. So probiotics are typically have some type of fermentation, like um,
Hmm.
miso or yogurt or sauerkraut or soy sauce, something like that. Those are all plant-based sources of probiotics, but it's important for us to get both because the prebiotics definitely keep things cleaned out. The probiotics are what's going to actually nourish your gut lining. So we got to get both of them together. And a lot of people don't really talk about the roles of the two together.
Yes, I was not aware of a prebiotic. So now I have. So where can you get the prebiotic from, or are there, certain foods that are more rich with prebiotics?
Yes, to both. So you can get prebiotics and probiotics from your health food store. I mean, honestly, you can get them on Amazon. I've purchased them on
Okay.
Amazon before too. But you can there are tons of natural sources. So think fiber, think bulk, think things that are going to scrub your gut lining. Those things are going to help pave the way for the probiotics. So fiber, certain brands like chia seeds, anything that's going to. I know I'm using a lot of plant-based products. I actually specialize
That's
in
great though.
plant-based nutrition. So if anyone out there who is looking for a plant-based, I'm actually a nutritional biochemist. So for anyone who is looking for someone who is aware of the plant-based stuff, hit me up. I'm happy to help. But oatmeal, chia seeds, flax seeds, those types of things are going to be really, really good for your gut lining. And there's tons of other options out there, but those are some of the most common ones that people
Okay.
use.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for sharing that information. And you all follow and connect with her, get some information. If you want to ask her any questions, I'm sure if you hit her in a DM, she's all about health and wellness. Make sure you get in touch with her. And that was your unapologetic moment with Dr. Z.